What is going on, guys? Tony here, coming at you with the third installment of the Kensei Advanced Matchup Tutorial Guide, and that is going to be the Berserker. Now, we have already done the Warden and the Lawbringer. If you guys want to watch those videos, I've made a playlist so you guys can go back and watch whichever matchup you guys need or are struggling with. So, when looking at the Berserker, they're kind of like a less cancerous Peacekeeper, to be quite honest. They do more damage than a PK does with their attacks, but they aren't as spammy or just annoying to deal with, and the range isn't quite as big as PK, who can just dash in, zone, come back, and shit like that. But regardless, Berserker is becoming more and more popular, and you're tending to see more and more of them because they're slowly getting buffed, and they keep just kind of rising up the tier list a little bit, so you're starting to see more of them. So I figured it is somebody that not everybody really knows the whole kit, so it'd be something good for us to tackle with a little bit early, because I don't see them getting any major changes soon, so these tips should last for quite a bit. So the first thing when looking at a Berserker is something similar to Peacekeeper, is that the limited guard stance, it only lasts for about 2 seconds, and you can see right there, once the guard stance goes black, you can actually get hit by any attack, no matter if you're blocking on that side. So that's why you see people with Berserker always moving like this and doing crazy shit. Not only is it confusing for other people to know where they're attacking from, but they kind of also have to. So a lot of Berserker's power comes from a combo change through feints, guard breaks, deflects, etc. But I'm just going to talk about some of the basic attacks right now. So first off, they have a jumping light attack right there, which is uninterruptible. So if you're throwing out an attack and the Berserker you're going against is spam, and that attack will still go through. You can parry it pretty easy though. Now they also have a jumping heavy, which also gives you hyper armor. Does a shit ton of damage, but people don't throw it out as much unless you're getting kind of spammy with like lights or something, and they'll just do that and get like a nice trade-off. In addition to this, they have 2 dash attacks similar to what Kensei has. So they have a dash to the right and then a dash to the left attack right there. It's good for dodging out attacks or CC from enemies. Now everybody probably knows the next attack, which is the 5-hit zone. Now the 5-hit zone gives you hyper armor, I believe, after the second attack, but I think the zone is only parryable on the second and last hits. So I've usually parried it on the last hit just because it's a little bit more of a parry window. It comes out just a bit slower than any of the other attacks, and it's annoying to deal with, and you don't see Berserkers throwing it out that much because it is pretty easy to block and there's no chip damage in. If there was chip damage in, they would get still a relatively decent trade from using it. As I mentioned a little bit, combo chains are really good for the Berserker. Now they can actually keep a combo chain going for infinity, basically, with just a light heavy, light heavy, light heavy, light heavy, etc, etc. So I'll just show you how much little stamina it uses to actually do this. See, that had to be somewhat 15 attacks or something, and I still wasn't out of stamina. So they're really good at doing mix-ups like that. So if they catch you, off guard, and they can just keep going back and forth and doing this crazy shit, and if you're not, up to the speed, then you're going to be getting a lot of damage off on you. So with Berserker, one thing that is very good about them is their guard breaks. So the max confirmed they get off a single guard break is a side heavy. You can see it does some pretty decent damage, and it's a really, really big opener for Berserker for starting combos. But if you happen to get grabbed by a Berserker, thrown into a wall like so, they will get the top heavy off on you, which does a lot of damage, does more than the side heavy, and that is the most damaging move on the Berserker. So you definitely need to look out and be aware of your spatial surroundings. So probably the best way for a Berserker to open up an enemy player is through feints into guard breaks, like so. So they'll feint, go into a guard break, and then they'll start maybe some other combo, etc, etc. So they can, if they get a guard break off on you, they could essentially keep their combo going infinitely if they just went in like that, and then just kept going, something crazy. But usually when someone goes in, they're not going to keep attacking like that over and over. So they might guard break, do that, and then feint again, and then do something, and then go back and do another guard break. There's a lot of mix-up potential with Berserker, not necessarily in the way Kensei does with his combos, but just in the attacks that you're actually throwing out, what side you're going from, etc, etc. So you have to really be on your game with reactions in order to block some of these attacks coming out from the Berserker. Okay everybody, so this is going to be the section where I kind of show off some of the deflects and parries, etc, defensive tools with Berserker. So the first thing that I'm actually going to show off is a dodge out of the way of an attack. So if they attack from the side, they can actually dodge in that direction like they're going for a deflect. And even if they don't get the deflect timing, they can still dodge it a lot of the time, like so. And then they can chain this into a guard break itself, or maybe just even a normal attack, like so. So I'll try to, go in for the guard break like that. But deflects are actually super strong with Berserker. It's essentially like getting a free guard break off. And essentially to do this, you dash in the direction of the attack during the parry window. So when it starts flashing, when I would normally parry, I just dash in that direction. And they get a free guard break and essentially free top heavy, and then just, if you're playing a good Berserker, they'll be really good with this. So mixing up your attacks is going to be super crucial to fighting against the Berserker. Okay, so this next thing is a crucial move that a lot of Berserkers actually do, and that's when getting the deflect off, they'll get their side heavy, and then they'll immediately feint the next heavy and go into a guard break. So I'll show you basically like this. They'll go like that, bam, back into the guard break. It's a move 99% of Berserkers do if they land a deflect. Alright everybody, this is the section where I'm going to show you how to basically play against a Berserker with some Kensei tactics. So, like I say with every character that I do an advanced matchup for, is you want to feel them out the first round to see how their overall playstyle is, but what I've seen with most Berserkers, I have a way higher success rate of actually defeating them if I'm just simply going for blocks and not trying to parry. Now this is a bot and they aren't going to be feinting quite as much as a normal player, but imagine a normal player is and you're trying to just go for for parries consistently, and they're feinting you and opening you up, getting guard breaks and damage off. So you're honestly in a way better position to just block their attacks, especially because chip damage hasn't been implemented into the game. And if you see that the person's just throwing out attacks willy-nilly, then you can go for parries and try to open up your opponent like that. Now my next tip is going to be something that I told you not to do when going against Lawbreaker, and that is to throw out your light attacks to try to go for some poke damage on the Berserker and take advantage of that reflex guard stance. So what I mean is basically you'll just be here and just maybe throw out a top light, back up, maybe throw out a side light, and then just try to catch them off guard if they're trying to start combo chains. With that guard stance, it's hard for them to react. And a lot of the times though, Berserkers who are good and have good reflexes will dash out of the way and maybe do their side attack. So if you find that there's someone doing this, you can always just go for a feint, and then once the person dashes to the side, you then will be able to maybe parry off that attack and then open them up that way. So I don't like to throw big heavies out because of the deflect on the Berserker. I primarily stick with lights on the Kensei, occasionally go for some feints into guard breaks like so, etc. So you don't really want to be getting deflect on, because that does a lot of damage and it's basically free, and it's not that hard to actually pull off from a Berserker. So when you're just playing, just basically, maybe walk up, throw out top lights, just try to catch them off guard. Don't throw out too many, because if you're spamming them, you'll either get parried or they'll dodge out and they'll get into a better combo, etc. So you just need to be cognizant. You don't need to rush this matchup. Although a Berserker is going to try to be the aggressor on you 9 times out of 10, you can't really give into that and let them speed up your play. You need to play your game, play your match, and if it's a little bit slower, then so be it. So these are my main tips against going against the Berserker. Nothing else is really needs to be said. That it's just normal combat tips. So we'll hop into a duel, hopefully show off some of my tactics and some of my plays against Berserker, and hopefully you learn something. Thank you guys very much for watching.
can't fly, can't fight, but we got one chance, do right. Life's tough, but just dance through nights and know that you can find the bright side of life.